Welcome everyone to the Cosmosm meetup. Today we will explore some eminent projects that are powered by Cosmosm and have a conversation with Frey, the father of Cosmosm. The meetup will be held for 2 hours and it will end in 6 p.m. For those participating offline, today's meetup will be live streamed, so there's like so many equipments here, so please be careful of cables and cameras. Today, Decipher is hosting the first Cosmosm meetup in Seoul. I'm today's moderator, Ricky John, the president of Decipher. Before beginning the meetup, I would like to briefly introduce about Decipher. Waiting for the screen. Yeah, so Decipher is a blockchain research group based on Seoul National University. I think there are 4 important axes in Korea blockchain ecosystem. We believe that academy, which conducts in-depth research, is as important as exchange, builders, and accelerators. There are many exchange builders and accelerators, but there are very few academies in South Korea. So Decipher is fulfilling those blanks. As a blockchain academy, we conduct and share in-depth research and contribute to blockchain industry by collaborating with various parties. Yeah, we have incubated numerous blockchain research content such as like papers and also like YouTube videos and Medium articles. Furthermore, many people that has been in Decipher or are currently working in Decipher is building their own projects. So this is all many various projects in South Korea related to blockchain, and like those are all related to Decipher. Yeah, but on top of that, we are just believer in blockchain technology. Decipher is a group of enthusiasts in blockchain. We'll keep going on and contribute to the blockchain industry. Yeah, so this is our context. So if you need anything, so if you want to ask anything or if you want to work anything with Decipher together, this is our context. So you can email us, or this is my Telegram. So you can just send me a message and let's work together. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so for the next, yeah, thank you. So next, the Misang from Confio will introduce about Confio briefly. Yeah, let's welcome Misang.
So hello everyone. I'm Misang from Confio, and I don't know how many of you know what Confio means. Do you know what Confio means? Confio means trust in Spanish, and that's our core value. We bring trust to this trustless blockchain world, and trust is, you rely on someone for his or her integrity and how do you say, strength, and to the extent that you put yourself online, you can take your risk, and I think that's what Ethan believes the value, and that's why Ethan named our company name as a Confio, and I truly align with that because I didn't know anything about like Twitter marketing or crypto or anything, but he believed in me, and like he invited me to join his journey, and I believe all our like 25 to 30 employees of Confio, who's all based in Europe, from like 15 different nationalities, we all align with it. And I'm not talking about CosmWasm because everybody will talk about it. I'll just wanted to introduce you guys what Confio is. And I'm so thankful to Decipher to invite us and to make this happen. It's our first in real life CosmWasm meetup. And as a Korean, I'm so proud that I could do this in my own country. And yeah, thank you for everyone for coming, and let's do this.
Yeah, we Decipher. Thank you guys for coming all here. Like it was really rainy here, but like really, we really appreciate for coming to the first Cosmosm meetup. Okay, so there's many projects that are powered by Cosmosm. So for the next hour, projects powered by Cosmosm will briefly introduce about themselves. So first, let's welcome Shane Vitarna from Stargaze.
Yeah, you can use this. Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? Man, it's awesome to be here in the CosmWasm meetup. So CosmWasm came out of a hackathon in 2018, right? And in 2019, and did you think we'll be having meetups about it at some point, right? That's crazy, right? You're right, and multiple chains have it on mainnet. So I'll talk about Stargaze and CosmWasm a little bit. A little intro to Stargaze for people who don't know about it. It's an app chain for NFTs, and right now it has two primary dApps on it. One's Launchpad and one is Marketplace. Launchpad is the primary market where people can come and buy NFTs. It's launched in March, and so far there's about 420 or more projects on it. And it has paid about 50 million stars to the creators that have launched projects on it. And then Marketplace is NFT Marketplace. It launched in May, and it has paid around 5 million stars to in royalties to all the creators. Yeah, Stargaze is doing quite a bit of volume, more volume than some well-known marketplaces on Ethereum and Tezos. And it also has really great uptime. And developer activity is also doing pretty well in Cosmos. These are some of the bigger collections on Stargaze. Bad Kids, I think a lot of people know that here. Some of you guys are fans. Space Ape Society is a project from Terra that launched. It's also doing great volume. And Stargaze Punks is one of the early Genesis projects that's also doing really great volume. So why CosmWasm, right? First of all, Rust is awesome. I think we all agree with that, right? Rapid development. So I used to do SDK development, and building with CosmWasm is just so much faster, right? Availability of engineers. There's Rust has been the most popular, most loved language in Stack Overflow for 7 years, and is much easier to hire Rust devs than hire Go engineers. Similarity to Ethereum and Solidity development. If you're coming from Ethereum, it's familiar to you, right? And you don't want to upgrade the chain every time you upgrade your software. So that's something really nice about it. And the contracts are a lot more composable. But also, Rust is just awesome. How is Stargaze using CosmWasm? So both Launchpad and Marketplace are built with it. We have some kind of custom bindings for it. Stargaze has 0 gas, but it does have a fee mechanic where, whoa, I don't know what happened. OK, where half is burned and half goes back to stakers. So we have bindings with CosmWasm and the underlying SDK. We make use of pseudo parameters a lot, governance. So you can update Marketplace parameters and Launchpad parameters with that. And we also have this very flexible kind of NFT minting framework where people can build all different types of minters and NFTs. And another interesting thing we have is that the marketplace that's built with CosmWasm has it makes use of hooks, so people can build on top of the marketplace. For example, if you want to track all sales, you want to build some kind of contract that kind of acts on each sale, then you can kind of build that. And I don't think any other marketplace offers any kind of features like this. Coming soon, Ibc Nft Transfers. So lots of activity with IBC this hackathon. This is something that we've been working on for a while, and hopefully we'll finish up soon. I don't know if I should go into detail on how this all works, but just a scenario here. Let's say you want to send a bad kid to Juno. You would first send a send transaction to the collection contract that would include an IBC transfer message that would go to the IBC bridge contract. It would transfer the NFT to an escrow contract and then send over the packet to the IBC handler that gets picked up by Relayer and then sends it to the Juno side. Once it's on the Juno side, it'll get picked up by the IBC bridge over there, and then it'll mint it to this IBC collection contract. And send it to the user. So so this is the the trip from the source chain to the sync chain, and this is on the way back, which is a bit of a kind of a similar operation, but first it starts out the same way. It sends a message to the IBC collection contract, and then that I can't even see it from here, talks to the bridge. The bridge transfers it to an escrow, which holds it in place until the message is sent all the way to the other chain. Once it gets to the when it gets to Stargaze, it unescrows it from the escrow contract, and then transfers it to the user. And then once that happens, it sends the ACK back to, in this case, to Juno. It knows that the transfer was successful, so then it burns it from the escrow. So so this is a kind of built on top of ICS-20 with some additional functionality for NFTs. And short and sweet. If you guys want to collect an NFT POAP for being here, you can scan this QR code, put in your Stars address, and get an NFT. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shane, for introducing Stargaze. I was also a big fan of Stargaze, so let's go Stargaze. Okay, so next let's welcome Yong Choi from Cosmos Station.
네, 안녕하세요. 코스모 스테이션 최용입니다. 제가 코스마즘 굉장히 좋아하는 프로젝트인데 이렇게 제가 얘기할 수 있는 자리가 있다는 것만으로 굉장히 영광이고 제가 열심히 발표 한번 해보겠습니다. 먼저 저희 코스모 스테이션에서 하고 있는 일 소개와 앞으로 할 일들에 대해서 간단히 소개를 하려고 합니다. 발표 시작하겠습니다. 저희 코스모 스테이션은 밸리데이터, 민트 스캔, 지갑, 익스텐션, 브릿지 등 40개 이상 체인에서 여러 블록체인 프로젝트들과 함께 생태계에 도움이 되는 제품을 지원하고 있습니다. 검증인으로서는 안정적인 노드를 운영하기 위해 노력하고 프로젝트와 검증인이 필요로 하는 기능들을 다양한 방법으로 지원하려고 노력하고 있습니다. 체인의 정보를 보여주고 활용할 수 있는 민트 스캔과 지갑은 코스모스 SDK는 완벽하게 지원하고 와즘, EVM 등 여러 커스텀 모듈이 있는 다양한 체인들을 분석하고 요구사항을 반영해 체인의 장점들을 잘 보여줄 수 있는 방법을 연구해 지원하고 있습니다. 최근에 릴리즈한 익스텐션은 코스모스 체인들 뿐만 아니라 EVM 계열들을 지원하며 인터체인에 맞는 인터페이스를 고민하면서 체인과 DApp 프로젝트를 지원하기 위해 노력을 하고 있습니다. 모바일 지갑과 익스텐션은 DApp을 지원하기 위해 모든 지갑 연동 방법 기능을 제공하며 특히 코스마즘 지원을 하기 위해 코스모JS, 코스모스JS와 연동하였고 그에 맞는 독스 라이브러리 이그젬플을 제공하여 DApp을 쉽게 개발할 수 있고 개발 편의성을 높이는 노력을 하고 있습니다. 특히 코스마즘 관련 지원을 위해서 민트스캔에서는 와즘 컨트랙트를 잘 보여줄 수 있게 지원하고 있었고요. 그리고 와즘 코드를 검증할 수 있는 기능을 제공해서 유저들에게 안전한 스마트 컨트랙트 사용할 수 있도록 정보를 제공하고 있습니다. 또한 주노, 스타게이지 등 와즘을 지원하는 체인들에 대해서 CW20, CW71 등 스마트 컨트랙트 관련 정보를 잘 보여줄 수 있게 지원하고 있습니다. 그 외에도 체인에 의미 있는 데이터를 보여줄 수 있는 민트스캔 허브 등 다양한 방법으로 블록체인 생태계를 위한 제품 지원을 하려고 노력하고 있습니다. 그리고 앞으로 코스모 스테이션이 하려는 일들은 사용자 친화적이고 다양한 제품들을 지원한 경험을 바탕으로 다양한 네트워크 지원과 인터체인에 최적화된 제품들을 지원하기 위해 노력하고 DApp 생태계를 지원해서 많은 프로젝트들과 유저들이 쉽게 적용하고 사용할 수 있게 하려고 노력하고 있습니다. 개발 문의, 연동 문의 등에 대해서는 앞으로도 최선을 다해서 지원해 드릴 것이고 함께 소통해서 좋은 프로젝트, 좋은 생태계를 만들 수 있으면 좋겠습니다. 그리고 마지막으로 지금도 훌륭한 프로젝트 분들과 이렇게 같이 함께 일해서 너무 행복하고요. 새로운 프로젝트, 새로운 분들과 함께 할 날들이 기대됩니다. 이상으로 발표를 마치겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Okay, so thank you. Next is Dan Lynch from Cosmology. Let's welcome Dan.
Hey everyone, kamsahamnida. Thanks for letting me come here. Wait. Okay, so I'm Dan Lynch, contributor at Osmosis Labs and founder of Cosmology. And our goal, there we go. We want to provide the tools and technology necessary to help launch the next 1,000 app chains. That also does include CosmWasm because we actually see the path of CosmWasm to helping people launching their own chains. Sorry, going backwards. So we aim to do this through basically, we want to bring on like all the Web 2 developers into Web 3. And we think like Web 2 devs are very used to just like throwing JSON at a server. That's not how things work in the Cosmos. So we want to make these simple, approachable tools that can help onboard these Web 2 developers into Web 3. And we think by making better developer experiences, that's how we can contribute to the mass adoption of the Cosmos for helping them building better tools. In this, we have a couple different products we're working on. One is Telescope, which is a transpiler for protobuffers. We've got a UI kit that we're also working on for building tooling. And also, more relevantly, for this talk, CosmWasm TS Code Gen. So essentially, these are not libraries. Oh my God, that's right. Sorry about that. Got to keep these in sync. Okay, so it is not just a library. It is a factory for apps. So what happens is we essentially read and introspect backend protobuffers and smart contracts. And on the other side, you get these multi-chain client packages. So effectively, like the source of truth is the code itself. And this saves developers like hundreds of hours of manually creating bindings to interacting with the blockchain. So with this type of technology, now you end up getting these really nice custom multi-chain client packages already bundled with all your favorite blockchains. So in ethos of IBC, this is how you can actually leverage the interoperability of the Cosmos SDK on the client. And so the vision is like you can pick all your favorite chains. Say we have Akash, Juno, Stargaze, Secret Osmosis, and you could easily create a bundle that can interoperate and communicate with not only their backend protos, but also their smart contracts. So here we go. Here's an example. The ICS 721 is actually one of the contracts that I help maintain the JSON schema for. So essentially, what we do is we generate code. Not only the types, we also generate the classes. So what happens here is you see like you're creating a client, new ICS 721 client, and as a developer now, you get all the really nice methods, right, to interact with the smart contract. And you don't have to write any of this stuff. So now you can just literally start building your user interfaces, whatever your dApp or your application is, without having to worry about the underlying like mechanics of operating with the smart contract itself. And so let's say you want to mint something. It's like as simple as just calling mint. Like you don't have to deal with any protobufs or any of the underlying encoding and this kind of thing. And not only that, but when you get your responses from any of these queries, even those have all the nested properties and those are typed as well. So it makes it really easy for the developer experience. It's quite nice. And this is CosmWasm TS Code Gen. Make sure to check this out. And I'll be around to talk to you guys about it afterwards. And Telescope is also using TS Code Gen for contracts. It also does proto, so definitely also check that one out. And Osmo.js also is doing a lot of the encoding stuff and includes a lot of these tools as well. So make sure to check these out. And kamsahamnida. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you. 감사합니다, Dan. Yeah, so let's next welcome Taiki Furuyoso from Unify.
Okay. Thank you for letting me introduce our product. Sorry. Again, thank you for letting me our product today. I'm Taiki, one of the core developers of Unify, which is a layer one blockchain for NFTFi building Cosmos SDK. Sorry, I'm not getting used to it. How can I move? Okay. Thank you. Then, what is the Unify protocol? The Unify is a layer 1 blockchain protocol for providing efficient NFT lending service through an internal NFT marketplace on the Cosmos ecosystem. The current pain points for NFT investors are lack of liquidity for NFTs, like the forces the NFT holders only to wait for capital gain by selling NFTs. And two is other NFT services are only small amount of token to be borrowed against NFTs, and even for shorter loan periods. So then, what is the value proposition of Unify? We provide efficient NFT lending service by offering NFT valuations based on solid demand, instant demand using our internal NFT marketplace, and achieved benefits like the largest amount of money user can borrow, the lowest interest rates, the longest duration of the loan. And these features are benefits for especially like blue chip NFT holders. We aim also to be a dApps platform with NFT price information at its core, with the internal NFT marketplace serving as the NFT price discovery function. So then the details of user flow of our protocol. You'd have been frightened by these like a lot of lines. It's actually simple, when you look closer. Like first, the NFT holder lists the NFT on a unified NFT marketplace. And once the NFT is bid by a bidder with certain price, then lister can borrow money by minting synthetic stable asset, leveraging our internal CDP system, or you can directly borrow the deposit money by bidder. There are two options for making NFTs liquid, and borrower have to take actions at the end of the listing. One is to repay the loan or decide to sell the NFT. Otherwise, the NFT is liquidated for keeping our dev system clean. This part are actually complicated, more complicated, but if you're interested, please take a look at our white paper later. Our ecosystem development plan, Unify aims to be a dApp platform with NFT price information at its core, with decentralized development, as I said. So we provide message API to launch PFP NFT projects on Unify. And also, we are planning to making products for derivatives that, 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 take advantage of our NFT price of internal NFT marketplace, like perpetual futures, to track the floor price of the corrective NFT and other more derivative, And also, we are developing a so-called front-end incentive module to provide protocol and fee for the creator of our NFT file service front-end application to make our product more decentralized and inclusive. And at the same time, we are also developing no-code tools for front-end developers for those who don't like code, using Bubble. So, and since we are creating those tool sets, not only for our specific features, but also for common Cosmos SDK functions and Kepler integration. So, if you are interested, please let me know. We can help you adapt that. Okay. And next, our community. Yes, our community actually has grown significantly in 7+ months. Currently, we have 26 Twitter followers, and actually, when I looked at the member of Discord community, it was 12,000 members, but and moreover, there are over 100 blue chip holders in our Discord member. I think this number sounds attractive. Yeah, next. So our roadmap, in the end, let me introduce our roadmap briefly. We are planning to launch the NFT file features in the testnet in Q3 this year, and mainnet Q4 this year. If our plan is going as intended, but we never know. So please wait for the actual our service and take a look at it once we deploy our core features. So that's it for me. Thank you for listening. Please join our Discord if you're interested.
Thank you, Taiki. Our next presentator is Euvyn Park from A41. Yeah, let's give a big applause.
Hi everyone, my name is Euvyn Park. I know that we might be a little tired since we've been sitting here for a little past 1.5 hours, so an exciting disclaimer. We just found out that our team, A41, has won the Hack Atom Hackathon, so there's another reason for you to pay attention. Okay, so we'll begin the presentation now. My name is Euvyn Park, and today I'll be speaking on behalf of our team, A41. So A41 is a blockchain infrastructure company, and we run validator nodes, and we are currently actively participating in the governance systems per the protocol that we are participating. We believe that active participation in governance is imperative, yet no one are really paying attention to it yet. So we believe that it is our mission to really strive and set that forward and tell the importance of governance to all the ecosystem participants, the protocol, the foundation, and everyone, and to you all. So with this mission, We have been currently one of the major players in the Korea crypto scene, and as you may know, A41 avidly publishes articles on the blockchain ecosystems, such as we have recently published articles on the recent Terra meltdown, the roadmap and the vision of Polygon, and the arising blockchain Aptos blockchain. We believe that our efforts do not end here, and we will continue to strive publishing articles so that we can really inform the participants, but also have our personal insights so that we just don't tell you about the technical aspects, but rather inform you on our various insights based on our profound knowledge of the ecosystem. However, we found that as we continue publishing articles and participating in the ecosystem, but through investments, content publishing, and node operation, we found that the future lies in governance. We believe that governance is imperative yet an untapped domain in Web3. So as we go on, we hope to really make a governance framework that can encourage active participation in the various networks per the protocol and the ecosystem, considering their unique personalities. So what do I mean by this? For example, activeness is not defined in protocols. What does being active mean? How active do you need to be? And also, for most of the protocols, the validators that we rely on are the top validators who are most reputable in the ecosystem. However, if we rely on such a small set of validators, this is not really healthy for the entire ecosystem, because trusting a blockchain network means trusting the validators who run the nodes. So we really believe in the mission of promoting decentralizing a validator set. So here are our efforts to doing so. Currently, we operate nodes for Osmosis, Juno, Mediblock, Stargaze, and SIFT networks. However, we plan to expand as we go on forward. We also release weekly governance memos where we detail our rationales for each proposals voted. So for every proposal that we vote, for the protocols that we participate in, we elicit our reasons and why it is so important for you all, and also all the validators, to pay attention and also join in our force. You can check out the A41 governance memo in our A41 Medium. We also have a governance musing series where we discuss the ideal on-chain governance and also what are the aspects that are lacking in the current on-chain governance systems. By doing these initiatives, we hope that more participants are aware that governance is actually what matters in the ecosystem, because it's where all the future path of protocols are discussed. And we hope that as we go on forward, we can really bring awareness to the community. Quick shout out to our team out here, Bella, Jay, Jumanzi, and Yoon from A41, and we will really hope to speak to you later on, and we're so happy to be here. Thank you.
Once again, congratulations. Our next presenter is Daniel Farina from Osmosis. Yeah, let's welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Farina. Very happy to be here. How many people know Osmosis? Nice. Okay. Great. Yeah. No. So we are one of the largest DEX in the Cosmos ecosystem, but we are also making smart contracts and CosmWasm one of our main priorities. So we have a lot of CosmWasm projects that are launching on Osmosis, and we're going through this awesome process of developing tools and libraries that can make the experience better. We're building a Rust tooling such as Beaker, which is like a really awesome tool to scaffold your contracts. And also we are supporting like amazing front-end libraries like the one that Lynch just shared a minute ago. I think that more than anything in Cosmos, we are a large family. So although we are building a lot of tooling that benefits Osmosis, we are also trying to make sure that it helps other blockchains in the ecosystem, because I think we're all working together towards like the same goal. So if you have any questions or if you need any help, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to provide tooling, libraries, that will make your CosmWasm experience easier to work with. Also, we're very grateful for Decipher for hosting this event, and also for Confio. I mean, we will not be here if it wasn't for Confio and all the amazing work that you guys are doing. I think, yeah, no. So I think that CosmWasm is the future. We're making it one of our top priorities, and we can't wait to see what you guys are going to build, what the community is building, and we hope that we can, contribute to the ecosystem as well. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So this is our last introduction. Let's welcome Jake Hartnell from Juno.
Hey, this is fun. I'm glad to be here. I'm just going to make up this talk as I go along, but I've got a couple important things to tell you. So listen up. Number one, there's this thing going on. I'm sure have you guys heard of Juno? It's like you do smart contracts. It's like pure crypto anarchy. It's like a DAO, it's cool. So there's this thing going on. It's called Hack Juno. You can go build awesome CosmWasm smart contracts, and there's over $1 million in prizes. It's actually over $1.5 million in prizes right now because the price of Juno keeps going up. So, and if you guys build stuff, it might be worth a lot more. So over $1 million of prizes. Go build awesome CosmWasm apps, and you can apply to Hack Juno. If you have any questions, please come see me after the thing. I've got a ton of cool projects for you to work on. For example, we've got interchain NFT contracts. Check it out. We've got some of the first IBC query contracts, interchain accounts. This is some cool stuff. Anyone interested in DAOs? We got DAO contracts, yeah. Check out DAO.zone. It's pretty cool. You can make a DAO. It costs less than a cent. You can launch tokens and everything. Or you can have just a multi-sig, and it's interchain DAO tooling too. That's the cool thing. It's not just the great thing about CosmWasm. Again, we're all family. Contracts built on Juno can be deployed on Osmosis, Stargaze, maybe even Secret Network someday. Maybe Terra too, but let's not talk about them. Lost a lot of money on that, but I think we all did. But yeah, that's the main thing is like check out DAO. It's cool. The links to the GitHub are there. It's all this tooling for basically building these really custom, awesome governance flows. I would actually really like to talk to the A41 folks if they're around, and they should check it out. So yeah, lots of cool governance tooling you can build with it, and no matter what you build, it doesn't matter, DeFi, games, whatever. We'd love to see it for Hack Juno, and feel free to come up and chat with me after. That's basically all I got to say. So, I don't know.
Okay, so the introduction for projects that is powered by Cosmosm is end, and now it's finally the time for Euvyn Frey. So let's welcome Euvyn Frey, the father of Cosmosm and founder of Confio.
Thank you all for being here. And thank you for the introductions. It's great to see these projects. As Shane mentioned, we built CosmWasm actually in a hackathon 3 years ago in Berlin with Shane, who was on the team back then. And it was this crazy idea we had on Friday evening, and on Sunday we were presenting it. It worked. Don't push it too hard, but it worked. And it's a whole new journey in my life just to build this out and really make it. And it's amazing seeing people believe in it, and so many people believe in it now, and just catching on. So like in the last November was a conference, and there are 5 mainnets with CosmWasm. And I just checked, there's over 20 now that I know of. And then I keep finding out there's like these commercial company chains, a private chains in Korea and Japan that are using CosmWasm I never heard of. People come to me, oh, Injective deployed CosmWasm. Okay, I don't even know this stuff, right? I'm not launching it, this is coming. So it's amazing seeing that, and really now, I see really an explosion here of CosmWasm, and we're really focusing one thing on developer tooling. Like, if you're interested now, there's a lot more potential to grow, a lot more places to use it. And we're launching academy.cosmosm.com. So if you get excited about CosmWasm, you want to learn what this is about, all the new stuff, we're launching Academy CosmWasm. You can talk to Misang here, you can talk to Bart, also here. They're both part of the Academy. And the whole purpose of that is to train you up. If you wanted to do development, you've done Solidity development, or SDK development, or just Web 2 development, and you say, I'm a developer, I want to learn CosmWasm, build smart contracts, we're going to train you. It's free. We just want to make you the best developers possible, so we have more developers in the ecosystem. And again, as they say, it's really kind of a family. So I see as one chain goes, it helps another chain, another chain. And what really makes Cosmos a big family is IBC, right? Like Ethereum is all these different chains fighting for users. I'm on this chain or on that chain. I'm on Polygon, or I'm on ETH mainnet, or on BSC, or I use Near. And they're fighting, right? And Cosmos was like the interconnected mesh of chains and trade. So IBC launched, and I heard this idea in 2016. I thought this would revolutionize blockchain, and I've been stuck on Cosmos since then. I wish I left. Sometimes I was like tired of Cosmos, but I couldn't leave because I believed too much in IBC, really. It's like, it was, yeah, my first addiction to Cosmos, and then CosmWasm came along. So, yeah, it's basically allows super easy, trustless connection between chains to move money now. But IBC is much more than moving money. IBC is about building new protocols, new communication mechanisms, and connecting chains. And so we built first-class support for IBC and CosmWasm. And it means basically you can write, the same way you have one contract call another contract, you can write a little protocol. So one contract sends a packet, it goes over the wire, it goes to another contract on the other side. Easy as that. So with that, it wasn't very interesting 6 months ago because there weren't that many chains that had this. But now there's 20 chains that support this. And suddenly you can say, okay, I can deploy a contract on this chain, that chain, and they can work together, right? I can lock my NFT on one side, I don't even have to move it over there. It's locked here as collateral, and I'm using it as collateral on the other side, and I'm doing my swaps over here. I use the DEX on this chain as a price oracle over here, without a relay, without some Chainlink oracle service paying lots of money for them. You actually have pure, trustless, permissionless oracle service directly from the DEX feed from one chain onto another chain. In both directions. You go from Juno Swap to Osmosis, Osmosis DEX to Juno, to Stargaze. You can look at the NFT prices on Stargaze and pump that to another chain. It works. So I think this I want to talk about today, and my main talk about this is about the future, for me, of CosmWasm. So the last 3 years, basically, has been developing CosmWasm for a year, and 2 years of really making it ready for mainnet, getting adoption. And we're there. And this year is about training up, keeping the trend. The last year, developers have really grown more and more and more. Discord used to be me and a few people. Now there's so many developers, I see Discord questions, I'm too busy to answer them, and there are answers. People don't even know answering other people in Discord. So it's really grown, the community, and it's going to keep growing. And the new thing now, which I was really launching a hackathon at the Hack Atom, and I was really proud to present, is IBC Smart Contracts. So we had support for that for a while, like in the code, you could do stuff. It wasn't really clear how people could use it. There weren't really chains to use it on. So no one really is that interested, and it was like a little too early. So it's really now time. We have lots of chains now launching CosmWasm, right? So lots of people on one chain, another chain, they have tokens on 3, 4 CosmWasm chains. And suddenly, oh, it might make sense for me to connect them. And I think that's a really interesting point. And so I have a presentation. I'll send a link here if you're a developer, but I'll briefly cover it. IBC is basically if you have, used to Web 2, you have a client, your browser, and you have a server. And you send a JSON packet to the server with your header. You have auth information with your header, your login, your cookies, whatever. You log in, you have these header information. You send this packet to the server. It comes back. It gives you a JSON response. It comes back to you sometime later, right? IBC contracts do that for blockchains. It's that easy, really. You write a JSON packet, you say send it, and sometime later that packet goes to the blockchain. The headers are all these really complex mathematical proofs showing this header is a new header of the blockchain, consensus agreed on this. This one proves this packet is here. This is all handled inside Cosmos SDK for free. On top of that, your contract just builds on that and says, okay, I got a message. I know the message came from that person, guaranteed. So all that complex blockchain is done. So you basically say, send message to blockchain. The server, I got the message. Here's my answer. thank you. So we have basically built that. And I built a script. It's called, if you look under the Confio GitHub repo, I can send a link out later to you, CW-IBC-demo. That one is explaining how to both build and test this. It's a simple contract. So back when I launched CosmWasm in 2019, in these crazy 2 days, that was like this beginning of the Cosmos. And a short time later, Tony from Kepler, if you probably know Kepler, an amazing developer. He's an amazing developer. He's from Seoul, working on Osmosis now too, and he came with the idea of interchain accounts in a hack at him. And what it was basically is one account on one chain can say, do this on the other chain. So just as you can call a contract, it says, serialize the message, sends it over, and runs it. And every account here can make its own account over there, right? So you send a message, okay, I get a different name here, but I have my own account I control. I can send money to it, and then it can act on it. So I can send money over here, then I can stake those tokens, I can reinvest them, I can put them in liquidity pools, I can do what I want. I don't need to have a relayer or another multisig. I can actually have my multi or a DAO over here directly managing its finances and swapping them another chain. Right? So it allows that kind of beginning was his idea of the future. This is 3 years ago. Token transfers weren't live yet. There was no IBC. He was hacking this stuff out back then. This guy is amazing, right? So we were waiting and waiting. IBC comes out last year. Tokens are going. They're everywhere now, just like this. One click of a button on Osmosis, it's over there. And now the new thing is like IBC accounts, really cross-chain accounts, which is pretty cool. And they shipped a few months ago, was missing one fundamental part to actually use it. So everyone's kind of adding to the blockchain, they can't quite use it yet. And then they're like, oh, we need queries. So if I stake my tokens over there, my DAO needs to know how much money I have, right? So I need my balance over there, so I know how much to restake. So all these little pieces are important pieces. Like the general ideas there, they're missing. And we're waiting and waiting. I said, why are we waiting? There's like core development teams are going at their pace, doing research and development. Like we know this stuff. So I said, I'm just going to build this in CosmWasm. So in the last few weeks, like coming back from vacation, flying to Korea, meeting like amazing people here, discovering this amazing city, I was like, okay, I'm going to build this test framework and show you how to do this. So I pulled out a few contracts that basically do that. You have a contract here, it takes a message, it sends it to the chain, and this one makes a new account for every person that connects to it. Everyone gets their own account over here, and they can run a message. 2 simple contracts, sending a little JSON back and forth. That's all it is. And then I showed you I write it, and then wrote test cases in JavaScript that would pull up one simple chain on your notebook, another one on your laptop, and run npm run test, and it will actually load the contracts and pass packets back and forth, doing the full IBC stack. You run in CI in 1 or 2 minutes, you have full verification, the contracts compile, they work, and they actually interact properly, or they have a bug, and you can debug it. Writing Rust contracts and nice npm tests, very easy to learn. So I showed this yesterday, not even 36 hours ago, and a lot of people are amazed. There are people picking up CosmWasm and learning how to do IBC contracts here already at the same time and writing their own contracts. I sat there, Jake got inspired, said, I want those queries, I'm waiting for those IBC queries, I'm just going to do it. And so he like just had seen this IBC stuff, and like, what, 6 hours you had them working? Yeah, with tests, full stack tests, and one test. Yeah. And they had callbacks. So it's like not just, I do features we're waiting also for this stuff that basically say, well, it works for a person, but like if my contract, if my DEX wants to know the price, I need to ask for a query. It goes to the chain, and when it comes back, it's what happens. I don't just want that. I want to go to my contract. I need to know the answer, right? My DEX says, oh yeah, here's the answer. So there's a missing piece, some of these little missing pieces in IBC, they're almost there. You just build them in a contract. You add that stuff to a contract, right? And then other people asked me about Osmosis, so I said, okay, I'll do it. I spent a few hours too and knocked out a price oracle that's kind of like his, but really customized. It just says, give me the price of this pair on Osmosis. It goes over there, queries them, and gives you the price, right? Again, it's a query thing, and it stored the data so you can get last price. If you don't want to query it, you can check, oh, last price was 2 minutes ago, I use that. It's old, please update it. Right? So you can do this stuff already. And this is just, yeah, a few hours. So we know CosmWasm really well, and we kind of know Cosmosm, the tooling really well, so it probably is longer for other people. They're learning the tooling, but still, you're learning all the tooling, and you did it in a day, right? Something a little smaller. So I think it's amazing that people are picking this up so fast. So, it takes a few days to learn it, learn CosmWasm, learn this stuff, and you really can start imagining multi-chain protocols. This is not things you need 100 million R&D teams, Polkadot, promising 7-year roadmaps to build multi-chain contracts. No, we have it today. So I think this is really the future. And maybe people aren't using it yet, but start imagining what it can be, right? These things are just, okay, so I have a DEX over here that can invest those tokens and send them back to their chain and actually stake them out of the chain while they're in the AMM to get rewards off them, right? So most of all, I think this is an idea they had in Aave that was we put some of the money and actually invest it while it's sitting there. Anyway, there are all kinds of ideas you can start building out and do them cross-chain. Just it's not just one chain, it's the whole cosmos. And you can start building applications to work over 2, 3, 4 different chains, just connect them. The security is there, the relayers are up, the chains are running, CosmWasm's there, and the tools are out. So I really want to suggest all of you, if you're interested in CosmWasm, or maybe you're interested because you're interested in multi-chain, and I can give you the key to the future. So I really think multi-chain is the future, and the future is here. Cool. So I'm excited about that. I just show some code, but I don't want to go. I did this. There's a video at the Hack Item from yesterday. It's all online on YouTube, I believe, still. So if it's about 1 p.m. on Saturday, there's a video. If you look at it, it's a 2-hour video of me going through the entire code base, explaining how it works, linking documentation. You can find out more information on CosmWasm/resources or on and it links to that. It's my workshop example. There's a link there for the workshop example. Check the video out. Check that out if you want to build it, if you're a dev. And if you're a business designer, if you're launching your own product, if you're thinking product marketing, there's a lot more stuff here, start imagining. Start imagining you don't just design your product to work on one chain, or I launch it on 3 different chains and connect it with my same UI. You could actually start designing your product to run on multiple chains. And just imagine what that can be, right? Just imagine it. Just we're missing that place. We're missing the exploration. It's something new that we finally got there. You get rocket ships, you can fly to the moon, you can fly to Mars. Now where do we go? Wait, where do we go now? Where do you want to go? So I think it's really a big journey. And it's been really amazing to see all these people here working so much. I mean, it seems like Korea is this really center of blockchain, so much development, so much innovation here. And I've been kind of, this Berlin scene explaining ideas there. So I really want to share this out there because I think it's just people thinking about it, coming out and really imagining what is potential, what other deals could come out there that we haven't built yet. On top of that, I want to say DAO is pretty awesome because, and I really like the talk from 841 there because governance is key. It is. And as you build a DeFi component, governance is important, right? We see these problems with governance hacks, people, flash loaning government votes to steal the money, things like that. And either it's a, multi-sig of some devs that just rug pull it, or it's, token voting and, someone flash loans it. And I mean, Vitalik said this last summer, beyond token weighted voting. He was like, I was thinking this for a while. He really published this piece. It's pretty clear we need to have better governance. I think DAO has amazing tooling. I think you guys are working on other tooling. We need better tooling. And that's just for one protocol. So now you imagine there's 5 different blockchains in your connected protocol, and you're relying on this governance for them. How do you do that? How do you organize that? That's even harder, right? So I think this is really brings governance higher into the challenge because it's been a challenge we've kind of ignored a bit. But I think building these multi-chain applications, building these processes, and then building good governance for them so they really keep functioning and be stable over that time. So I think it's this huge space really opening up in blockchain, in Cosmos, and I know we're in a bear market and it's not the most exciting time, but it's a great time to think about these big things, invent the new big thing, right? You don't have to ship in 1 month. You can ship in a year because no one's turning out that fast. So think about it, design it, build it, and let's create the new big things here. And let's build with CosmWasm, let's build on Cosmos, let's use IBC, let's use these new DAOs, let's build it all out there. So that's my pitch. That's where I think Cosmos is going. That's where I think the future of blockchain is. Thank you.
Okay, so We will have an open Q&A session for Euvyn Frey. So if anyone have a question, please wait for the microphone to be delivered. So can you come here again? Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So and also those who is attending from online, yeah, you can ask Euvyn by giving your question through YouTube live chat. So yeah, feel free. Yeah. So does anyone have any question?
Ooh. Hi.
Hello.
Before I begin, just wanted to mention CosmWasm has given me a huge inspiration. So I'm very glad that I finally met the author of the original library. I've been wondering, so if I recall correctly, you guys have been using Wasmer internally. And so Wasmer, I believe, would leverage the fact that Cargo or LLVM would compile the Rust code into WebAssembly. And how did you make the system so that it calculates how many WebAssembly instructions are invoked by the underlying Wasm runtime, which I believe is Wasm time, or it could be something else. Yeah. How do you count the number of instructions that are being invoked?
Wow, thank you for that reading and great question. So I'm not usually asked about the internals of the VM. It's been like, I really spent 2019, 2020, and 2021 working on it. But yeah, glad to explain that. It's an awesome question that you care about that. What we do is basically the Rust compiler compiles Rust into Wasm instructions, Wasm 32 instructions, and that's what you upload. Wasm is not in the compile process, that's later on. It's pretty actually cool because Rust is getting better compiler. So I've seen actually the size and the size decrease and the speed increase as we've been doing over the last 2 years, 3 years. Just the Rust part of it. So that's Rust really heavily using LLVM and compiling down the most optimal Wasm code from Rust. On the other hand, when you load in the blockchain, you're right, we use Wasmer. So you upload the code on the blockchain, Wasm code, and what we do is when it's approved, we first do Wasmer has a head of time compilation. It runs a compilation pass of that Wasm code into native sandboxed, like native code, native byte code, depending on whether AMD or ARM, whatever. Before we do this is a middleware approach. So it takes that Wasm that I upload as a contract developer, which can be anything. You can't trust it's actually valid. It could be some total fake code. It takes and injects instructions in it. So every time there's a branch, it calculates how many instruction statements were there since the last branch. Okay, it's an add. Okay, so multiply is a little more expensive. It's a move. It's a memory read. And there's a price for every instruction. And before the next jump or any sort of conditional statement where it might move, we charge that gas. So it runs these 50 Wasm instructions, then we inject charge gas, and then it has a possible jump where it might go somewhere else. And then it runs and it charges gas at the end of every block. You're guaranteed it runs. Not every instruction, every block, it's more efficient. That little charge gas calls into the Wasmer VM. It's like the low-level Wasmer, the Wasm interpreter basically thing, just has a little call out there. And that keeps track of it. And if it hits a limit, it aborts processing. So it does a check every time. It is an overhead. We did calculation of this, heavy calculation back in 2020. It's about 25%. We went down from about 40% down to 25% overhead slowdown by adding this. But yeah, of course, it's safety. You have to add it. So it's not a huge overhead.
Does Wasmer have the API for us to do that, or did you actually have to modify the code of Wasmer inside?
We don't modify the code of Wasmer. We did have, in the beginning, there was like some unexposed stuff there. And we had, yeah, it was kind of annoying. But they really exposed a much better API now, especially with Wasmer 1.0 is better and 2.0 is a little even cleaner. It's called middleware. So you can set up the compilation step. Two things, the backend to use and the middleware to compile with. So it will then stream the bytecode, the Wasm bytecode, through any middleware you pass it to, and then into a compiler, right? So we have two middlewares we're using right now, and we wrote them. We're actually inspired by, I think, the Space Mesh people working in one of those a while earlier, and we used some code and we modified it since then. But basically, one of them just does determinism. So we check any instruction, which is like a floating point operation, which is some SMD calculation, which threading operation. There's a bunch of operations in WASM. We say those are possible non-determinism operations. We're being very strict. So we basically whitelist a series of operations or inter operations, checks, bit operations. These are whitelisted. Anything else, it rejects the code. So basically, abort compilation, this code isn't bad. And then we say, okay, after we've verified it, we go through and inject these charged gas statements in the middle of it. So Wasmer has this charged gas functionality, right? Like it's built into it, and we just had to basically inject the statements. And we set our own pricing, basically, of how we charge statements in Wasmer. And we then just benchmarked some code bases, figured out how to relate that WASM gas to milliseconds, figured out how SDK gas to milliseconds, and did a conversion factor between them. Once you've done that middleware, it feeds into a compiler backend. There are 3 backends out there. One of them is single pass, the other is crane lift, and the other is LLVM. So again, I was doing a lot of tests on this in 2020, so this is maybe a little older benchmarks. Single pass is very efficient and safe. It just goes through, and every time it sees an instruction, it turns into native bytecode. No optimization, right? Of course, WASM is 32-bit. You have a 64-bit computer. You can probably do better. So it's not so efficient, but it's very fast to compile, and no possible attack vectors. You can't attack the compiler. It's a very simple compiler. Crane lift does a few passes, and LLVM much more. There are possible DOS attacks where you write code that's very complex. The compiler takes minutes to compile it, right? So we don't use them. But we found stuff is interesting with single pass WASM. It's running about 8 times, 10 times slower than native Rust code. And remember, Rust is running faster than most other languages, right? So Rust is already 3 times faster than Go. So that means like your WASM code you're running is running slower than native Rust, but maybe only 3 times slower than native Go code. So that's pretty fast. Crane lift will bring it to about the speed of native Go code. And LLVM, we used that, it was like 50% slower than native Rust code. So basically uploading WASM, and then if we compile that WASM with a very slow compiler, which we cannot do in a blockchain, but maybe one day, you compile a really optimized code here, and that will run so fast like native Rust code. You'd be able to do any sort of math you want there. You'd be full on BLS signature verifications, all kinds of complex math there. We do exponents without, with almost no gas prices now, but you can do full-on crypto without precompiles.
That was a great answer. Thanks.
Any more questions?
Cool. So earlier on, we saw Cosmos Station adding some really cool, things for seeing details of contracts on the Explorer, which is really awesome. What are some of the tools that you think that us as developers should be working on to make the CosmWasm experience better? Like, what are some of the tools that you wish to have that you think that people should be working on?
Very good question. Thank you. So one of the tools I wish to have for a long time was this TS CodeGen. So I discovered this in Prague like 3 months ago. It's fucking awesome. Basically, I was like, oh, we generate this JSON schema with a hope that someone would take the JSON schema and make like a client library from it, right? And we never really spent the time to do that well. We did some attempts at it. They weren't really solid. But yeah, it was really amazing to say, okay, I have a contract, compile it. We have a really optimizing compiler. It's one Docker image, and then another button to basically generate my client libraries for it. So I think that was one really important thing. It needs to maybe a little polish and usability, people knowing it, documentation, but really get out there. So I really think this is a really important thing. So it goes from I write a contract, and then write a few commands, and then I'm writing my front-end DApp, right? So it's easy. Like in Ethereum, they have this Ethers.js and stuff like that. That's easier, so I want to make that so easy there. So that's one important thing. Another part people ask for a lot is code verification. And this is something that Cosmos Station showed me in their office, and that was really awesome. I was very impressed to see it live. People have been talking that for like maybe a year. We should do this live. We should get it out there. And the idea is you can verify a contract. You cannot reverse compile it. But if I share you the source code, you can compile it the same way. And if the hashes check out, it's the same code, right? So same way with Etherscan, you can upload code. And the idea is this, that you would be able to upload that code and say, hey, this is the code for my contract. It verifies it. And you can see, everyone can see that. They can see the code of your contract. They can inspect directly the code behind the contract is verified, right? Which is pretty awesome. And from that, they can also store the schema. So you can immediately say, I don't know the code, but that contract number, Juno12345, I'm a client for that. And it would download a schema, auto-build the client, and suddenly I just have a client library to interact with it, even maybe on the fly. So that's something I think would be amazing to see. Or auto-generated queries, just like Etherscan. So I think Etherscan's amazing, and I'd love to see a lot of that stuff. There's inspecting the internals of the contract, like the log stuff, and like what happened. So when you want to run, if you've ever done Etherscan, you kind of run these custom Solidity things without UIs. It's kind of weird sometimes. You're kind of like trying to create, the complex walls where you're creating things, you don't know what happened. You only can look at the logs to see what happened, or the state changes to see if it worked or not, because there's no real UI for this stuff. Like it's older Solidity contracts, but you don't have anything to really inspect that. So that's something else. We have working also internally on some stuff, so you can actually see these messages. So you say, okay, I call this contract call this other contract, that call this other contract, and return this result. So that kind of internals of the processing, you can actually monitor and then like display to developers. So as developer tooling, I think that would really help to understand it. With the actor model, it's really easy to kind of separate out and show those pieces of chunks. So I think these are things that really help it, make it more visible what's going on. And of course, the biggest thing I think is really documentation, training, and as you go along we keep finding little niches that you keep teaching people, and they complain about something, right? There's a rock in the road, and you're used to it. You know it there, so you always step over it, because you're used to it every day. You step over it, and you don't think about it. But then some new comes in the room, and they hit it. So it's really great doing this academy. We want to learn from you as well. So please do take the academy, and if you do sign up, give us feedback. Tell us what's hard. Tell us what's not working. And there's lots of little tools everywhere. You know, I'm talking advanced tools, and these are little tools just to make it easier for everyone and smooth it out. So it really should be, Ethereum has now 7 years of polish on mainnet, getting there. And, we're only really 1 or 2 years on mainnet, and we're just starting. Ethereum in 2017 was unusable almost, right? Unless you were like the CLI, pretty much. So, I mean, we're really there. I think we have pretty good dev tooling now, and I really want to make it amazing dev tooling.
Thank you.
I have one question about the coding styles. There's two kinds of coding styles. First of all, there's in CW20 is all the functions are separated, but in CW NFTs, which means the CW721, is based on the OP styles, right? So, what do you think is the best styles for coding Cosmosm?
That's a good question. Thank you. So, I'd say, please do not look at those old Terra Anchor contracts as... no, look at them, but do not use them as a style guide. They were rushing into market. They did it. It works. I looked at this stuff. It does not have any bugs I know of, but it's just ugly code, right? And they were learning CosmWasm and trying to ship 3 products in 6 months. It's crazy. I'm not blaming them. But this is, it's not clean code. It's rushed code. And CW Plus for me is really like, we tried to take our time and clean it up. We had no rush to market. They're used as examples. I like those generally as examples. So what you see in CW Plus is meant to be examples of coding style. Maybe they're not perfect. Maybe they're little newer practices, but they're, I think, a good reference. One thing we found when doing it was that composition was easy. Contract A calling contract B was quite easy, but contract extension was hard. So if I have a CW20 contract, I want to make it a staking contract or add a feature to it. Inheritance, that kind of concept. We didn't have it in Rust. We had no concept of CosmWasm, so it was kind of doable. It was a weird functional way and lots of glue code. It's not very clean, honestly. You can do it, but it's just a lot of boilerplate to do it. So that was one thing I wanted to make better internally. And so CW721, people wanted to extend it. They wanted to add it here, the extension points here, extension points there, try subclassing it, and this really push. And so I had ideas. I tried to make that there. And I thought I'd be able to have more time in it, so it's kind of a little unmaintained the design, but it was a design that was basically supposed to be extensible, much more extensible, and I think they have used it to have many subcontracts in it. And probably needs to be cleaned up a little bit, like the how. But yeah, it was an idea, and it was a half-finished idea, I'd say. It's a usable version, but I would not copy that as is. What we are working on, this man over here, you can talk to him later if you want, Bart, is working on, if you've seen Ink, the language Ink, it's from Substrate. No one's really using it, but it's an interesting idea. They take a Rust DSL and they try to make it look more like Solidity, right? So you have a struct with a state inside of it, and you have the functions, and they're all like hash query, hash execute, hash init, right? And we said, okay, that is actually a decent interface, right? And we want to expose a lower level one. You still have this, but wrapping some macros that auto-generate a lot of this kind of boilerplate stuff, and especially make it more extensible, which has to use traits. So yeah, on and off. Bart has been working like the last 6 months on and off when he can, when I let him. I let him go for a week on it, and then, oh no, you have other stuff you have to ship. But yeah, so he's been working on that. It's called Sylvia. And yeah, if you look at CW1NG contract.
Yeah, we have, but this implementation there is kind of the first contract I tried to convert to the Sylvia way. And it was kind of long time ago, and I know that things would change soon. So we are like on a very proof of concept level. There's a guy starting tomorrow who would work a bit on that, who would help me. But the idea is that we want to, in general, we want to bring this OOP style, as you called it. So maybe more trade. Sorry. We want this more trade-based contracts instead of structures-based contracts. So we can, as Assistant said, extend them. And yeah, this whitelist contract is the old example, how we maybe want to work on that and expect changes. So do not use it as example how to do your own contracts. The idea was mostly to create contract I would like to generate, because the Sylvia framework is more like code generator. So we want to take just all those traits I defined there and generate everything else. And in these contracts, more of those stuff are handwritten, so I know what I want to generate. So this is how it works. But check out the Sylvia framework. It is on Cosmos repo, I think. I think so. Yeah, I think so. And if you want to talk about this later, just catch me.
Oh, thank you.
What would you like people to build for Hack Juno?
Wind. So yeah, I think Hack Juno governance, DAO does awesome for governance, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see tooling, like I was mentioning before, and I'd love to see IBC contracts, really. So you know, I don't run Hack Juno. I'm not even on Juno at all. This man has a voice there. He's not making decisions, but you know, I can nudge him, say it's awesome. He'll tell someone it's awesome. Maybe get a prize. But I'd love to see IBC contracts, really, and really experiment with that and see those launched, really connecting. And for me, if you look at Cosmos, you know, the big thing's the hub. It's a big chain. It doesn't have CosmWasm. But number 2 and 3 are Osmosis and Juno. And they both have CosmWasm, right? And Stargaze is up there. It's also like top 10, I think, of those, you know, Cosmos chains. So it's cool. They're also CosmWasm, the NFT centers. You have NFT, you have DeFi, you have governance. All of them with CosmWasm, you can start playing with that. So I think just in those 3 chains, if you start building stuff, it's a really nice playground. I'd love to support that. I'd love to evaluate it and, like, you know, recommend it. I'm also working on something called Wind, which is a really cool DAO. Check it out, winddao.com, maybe. We'll be doing something probably in a few months, hopefully, if I get some time to do it. Any more questions?
How do you see the relationship between the SDK and CosmWasm evolving? Like, because we have this problem in the chains, everyone maintains fork of the SDK. Do you expect that some CosmWasm to make the SDK slimmer? Do you expect developers to move some functionality, maybe instead of writing a new module, to write some contracts to implement the same functionality? What's your vision in the future?
Vision or reality? So, reality is the SDK works. It has its issues, but it's stable, it's tested, it's on 40 mainnets. If there's a bug, someone else finds it before you do, right? So it's a solid basis. It has great IBC support. It has, you know, proof of stake. It has all these things, and everyone loves it. or at least after the feature they love, and then they find these little weird things about amino encoding, they get really frustrated. But it's out there, it has tooling around it. So I think it's really hard to leave it. I think forking is a pain. Honestly, I think Osmosis does it for performance reasons. I think it's really important to do that for them. I'd love that to be upstreamed. I'd love it to be more stable. I love changes in it, but it's a slow process improving. I had a talk with Informal Systems 2 years ago. So Informal Systems is Ethan Buckman, the head of one of the founders of Cosmos, is running his thing. They do a lot of Rust programming, a lot of formal verification, audits. They're building the relayer in Rust. So they have a lot of Rust team. And he was proposing we build SDK in Rust. And so I'd love to see that, a really minimal one. So if someone's inspired, I'd totally love to support this. But basically a super small SDK in Rust is just really fast database layer. Ideally, just verify signatures, bank money with tokens, IBC, and CosmWasm. And it plugs to some DAO in CosmWasm, you can control the validator set. That's all I think you really need in there. Super minimal, don't add anything more to it, and just make it really solid, robust, and efficient, and bug-free, so people can build their CosmWasm contracts on top of it. And of course, it has to be compatible with all the Cosmos tooling. Use the same protobuf formats, the exact same wire format, so Cosm.js, so TS Cogen, so all the protos could work on it, so all Cosmos Station could use it out of the box, it'll just work, right? It'll look like another Cosmos chain with a few less features, and just be really solid and robust, because I think it's, it's hurting. Performance is also hurting. I mean, it works for everyone, but then you hit these huge, the Terra's suffering from that, right? When you get huge, it's great if you're a medium chain, small chain at some point, but sometimes you get huge chain, it's just you want to go faster, right? So
yeah, also upgrades are painful. So if you have a slim binary, you don't have to upgrade the binary, you just change contracts.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice, thank you.
So that's a wish. I'm not building it. I would love to build it. I don't know if anyone will build it, but I just want to, it's a wish.
Ethan, do you want to implement CosmWasm on Cosmos Hub?
Oh. So yeah, there's actually 2 proposals that came out around this, if you're following this, 69, 72, right? So 69 was adding CosmWasm to the Cosmos Hub, and I was being recruited to be a supporter and a big promoter for it, and asked them what the plan was, right? And the plan was so they could use LiDAR for liquid staking. I said, okay, and what else? We'll try to get some more projects. And for me, it was a no. So I'm old school a bit more. I started Cosmos 2016. The vision of the hub was stable, secure, like the Bitcoin of the Cosmos. It would do routing and provide security, right? And adding CosmWasm makes it fast, flexible, but it's still a bit experimental, right? If you're saying your Bitcoin, it's slowed it up. So I was like, this is a philosophical change. It's not just adding a feature set, right, to the hub, which is already complaining about no features, no features. This is adding a whole VM and a whole world of features. And it's a philosophical change. So I said, you have to explain it to everyone why you want to change the whole direction of the hub to something else, right? And then have a real plan. Like we have these 5 projects that are really important projects we'll launch in the hub, and we want the VM to launch them all, right? That for me would have convinced me. And I would have said, okay, I can support that. But there was no plan like that. There was no explanation saying it's a philosophical chain that we're changing. It's just this is good for value of the hub now, right? And so, the new people, you can change the hub. It's different people running the hub now, and they could decide to change it, and that's fine, and people do change and grow. But I think it had to be really considered the weight of this is a philosophical change of the hub and the direction and the importance of what we're doing. This is basically the meaning. So if the hub wants to look like Juno, they're different. Juno had the thing of being, experimental, fast and furious. Osmosis is pushing DEX and experimentation here, and the hub was stability. But you don't just change, right? So I think for me that was a big no, because not because CosmWasm wasn't good enough for the hub, but the hub didn't have a purpose for it. It didn't understand it. And then the 72 came out, which I'm actually more supportive of, which says, okay, we want it, we buy security, we make a small chain that we secure, and that has CosmWasm, and does its thing, and we maintain the security. And that's a little more philosophically correct. So maybe they find a really good business reason to put it on there, but they have to make the argument to all the shareholders, all the stakeholders of the hub. I think that it's actually philosophically important to change and go from being Bitcoin to be Ethereum. I mean, like, there's wars over that one, right? It's not an easy change to make. Any more hot questions to get me into trouble later? The soju. It's food, right? Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so I think that's it for today. I heard that it was the first time visiting Korea for Ethan and many other guys. So if you have any soju recommendation or any food recommendation, yeah, you can ask me. Yeah, so I think it was really beautiful time, and it was a really great pleasure to co-host this great event. So our place, this place name is D Lounge, like Decipher D Lounge. So D Lounge will be open until 6 p.m. So you guys can feel free to network and talk with each other and have a communication. Like there's many drinks. No alcohol, like just drinks. Yeah, and like snacks in the first floor. So feel free. Yeah, it was really great pleasure. Thank you. 감사합니다.